Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Monday, November 13th. This is the morning show that we do every day at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. We give our official picks. Jimmy the Bag is still on vacation. Where is he? Where could he possibly be? I have no idea, and I'm sure he's making videos about it, but I don't have anywhere close to the time to try to search for those videos. Overwhelmed right now is what I am with the start of college basketball. Last week, overall, was a pretty shitty week for me. I had a couple of nice days, but overall it was a pretty shitty week for me. I'm still able to say that I'm up in every sport, but I also have to admit that cutting it close in a few of these. I'm definitely cutting it close right now in the NHL, still up in NHL, cutting it close in college football, still up in college football, but definitely cutting it close. And I had a super shitty day in MMA. I'm not cutting it close in MMA. I'm still up significantly. That's just because I had a great year overall, but not happy about the fact that I had a whole bunch of big favorite losers in MMA. And and also the play that seemed so obvious to a lot of people, including some sharp guys, according to Brent from BetDSI, the Buffalo Bills +3 got blown out. I got to look into what the hell happened there, but I was definitely wrong on that one. There were some other sharp people who were supposedly on it and wrong about that one. That doesn't make me feel any better. All right, but we got college basketball today, a huge card. I'm definitely looking into college basketball closely. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to give any official picks in these shows with the way the schedule is going in college basketball. Most of my picks come closer to kickoff. I just haven't had any time to look into the card today. A few teams like Georgia Southern though, and a bunch of teams that return a lot of starters can be good bets at this time of year when they're getting decent underdog odds against power conference teams that are still figuring out the rotations and stuff like that. Perfect example of that this weekend was Georgia Southern against Wake Forest. Wake Forest, a good team, obviously, but still figuring things out. Georgia Southern, a classic example of a team returning a lot of starters, and they might continue to be a good bet in upcoming games. We'll see. But as of college basketball, as far as today's concerned, college basketball, I have not had time to look into it. I probably will later on today, and if I see anything good, I'll try to tweet it out. It is a chaotic time in the sports betting season right now, but let's jump into it. We do have an NFL game tonight, which we'll talk about. I'm going to pass on that one. Two very tricky NHL games and a NBA card where I think I'm seeing a bunch of plays I'm liking. Of course, we'll get to I'll read all the comments that people put up in the chat box. Those comments can often be very, very, very valuable, more valuable than my comments here on camera. So we will get to that. Let's before we get into the NBA card, let's quickly look at some of the comments to see what people are commenting on. I know a lot of people are saying that in the NFL game tonight that as bad as Miami is, they shouldn't be getting that many points, and that may be the case. I'm definitely not going to be betting that game at all. But let's see. Let me look at some other. Wow, Never Faded says, yes, I cashed 3 ways on that Saints game. Very, very nice. Very, very nice, Never Faded. Look, I mean, the Saints were obviously doing well. Their defense is very much improved. It just seemed like the spot didn't justify them being a road favorite against the Bills, but obviously in retrospect, they should have been a much bigger favorite. So congratulations to everyone who nailed that one. Justin Searcy saying it's a bunch of college basketball games. Lord, how do you break all that down? Well, the answer is you don't bite off more than you can chew. You just bite off as much as you can chew, and you pass on whatever games you don't have time or the means to handicap fully and accurately. But there are some things that I look for early on in the season. Like I said, mid-major teams with a lot of returning starters going up against, major conference teams that are sort of figuring out their rotations and stuff like that. So, and there can be a lot of wacky stuff that goes on with totals. So a lot of times I'll have plays on totals. Again, I didn't have the balls to tweet out any plays because I just didn't want to embarrass myself publicly in college basketball this weekend. But I did have a bunch of plays that in general looked were pretty good. So all right, I'll see if I can tweet out anything today. We'll see in college basketball. But yeah, here we go. Justin Searcy saying Dolphins +10 is ridiculous. I can't believe they are spotting them that many points. Well, I mean, yeah, they're a bad team, and it might be one of those like 23-10 games where Carolina does cash. But a lot of people saying that they like the Dolphins getting all those points. All right, so let's get into it. All right, let's see. Miami to cover is low-hanging fruit, Loshak. Wow, nasty N8. Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate, Miami to cover all those points is low-hanging fruit. That might be the case. I did not look into that game deeply tonight because I was, again, looking at college basketball, looking at NBA, looking at all the college football openers, and I took one glance at the game tonight, and I was like, I think I'm just going to pass on this one, which is what, even if you do it professionally full time, a lot of times you just pass on games that you don't have time to look into fully, and certainly that's an essential thing to keep in mind and essential strategic thing to do when when it gets into this point in the season when there's just so much stuff that you could handicap, could look at, but it's ultimately too much to look at it all. All right, so let's see. Jive Man says, I like the Panthers, but they haven't really been blowing anyone out. Yes. Lamia Saeed says, Miami, our poor team, betting an underdog for sake of it is madness. Yes, good point there, Lamia Saeed. It's not always a smart move just to take any big underdog just because you think it's a sharp thing to do. There can sometimes be big favorites that have good value, as Ohio State was this past Saturday in college football. A lot of people were doing that same kind of thing, looking at Michigan State and being like, getting that many points, they had to have been a good play, but that was one of my official plays, Ohio State. And earlier in the week, they were 14.5, and I mentioned that I bet them and that I wanted to give it as a pick, but I was going to hold off and see if it actually hit 14, which it didn't. Day of game, it was -17, -120, and in the Big Man Show on Saturday morning at 11 a.m., I mentioned that was one of my official picks, and it did cash. But nevertheless, it's definitely a good way to lean to take the big underdogs in these kinds of situations. Jive Man says, I can see this being a 17-6 type of game. Justin Searcy says Panthers can't run the ball that well. Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay. So the good news is that maybe this is good news. I don't know. The good news is that there's a bunch of basketball NBA games that I think I'm seeing an edge on. And through all of my shitty records from last week, I still did okay in NBA. And overall, my official record in NBA, 35-20, plus 13 units, plus 22% ROI. So hopefully I won't reduce my units there and start to be cutting that one close as well. All right, in the NBA today, I'll go over the picks that I'm liking and see if people in the chat box agree or disagree. First of all, I think I'm liking the Knicks against Cleveland. Now, the Knicks and Cleveland did play a while ago, and Cleveland, of course, got blown out at home. So presumably this is they're remembering that, and this is a big bounce back spot for them. On the other hand, Cleveland sort of called, LeBron James made a comment about that Knicks rookie, and the Knicks didn't really like that comment too much. So presumably they'll be motivated here. And just in general, it feels like the Cavs in general are a team that is going to be overvalued. All things being equal. In this case, it might be the case that all things are being equal. And the Knicks, of course, undervalued, 7-2 ATS over their last 9. The Cavs, 2 kind of nice covers on their current road trip, but they came against, Dallas and one other team. I can't remember who it was, but not particularly difficult competition. And now the Knicks, cashing game in and game out, our home dog here with some kind of motivation. My only reservation is just that Cleveland did get blown out at home by the Knicks in their last game. So, presumably they are, LeBron James probably has that in his mind and is looking for a blowout. But I'm definitely leaning Knicks here and the Knicks on the first half as well, and probably the Knicks team total over as well. I see this is likely to be a high-scoring game, and maybe even if the Knicks don't cover, they cover the team total over. So that's when I'm leaning. I'm probably going to give some official picks on that one, but I'll get to the other games in a second. Also, I'm thinking that Minnesota against Utah probably is a good play, and particularly on the first half, that line has gotten bet up from 3.5 to 4. Of course, Utah lost Gobert 2 games ago. Their first game without him was good, but a lot of times in the NBA you see that a star player goes down. The first game without him is good, and they cover, and then the negatives from losing him start to show themselves more in subsequent games after the first game back. And Minnesota, of course, is in a big bounce back spot here. They are off 2 straight pretty bad losses and margin ATS losses. So Minnesota, questions defensively. The bench isn't that great, but I'm thinking that the first half is definitely a good play for Minnesota. I did bet that one, and I'll definitely throw that one on there as an official play right now, just for the hell of it. I'll throw it on right now. It's definitely going to be a play. No ones. I was hoping to get some ones, but there are no ones. It's actually 1.5 or 2. Pinnacle has -1.5, -112, and that will be an official pick. Minnesota first half, -1.5, -112. Another play that I think I'm liking is is Phoenix at home against the Lakers. Of course, they played a high-scoring game first time that they met this year, and the Lakers won it barely. It was a high-scoring game, and Phoenix playing pretty decently recently, right? They've got some big men who are playing okay. Booker and Warren are playing pretty well, and they're looking like they're happy for this rematch to get some revenge on the Lakers. And the Lakers, 3 straight road losses straight up and ATS. Lakers are probably chomping at the bit to come in here and end that streak. But again, it's I think that Phoenix their win against Minnesota outright as a double-digit home dog probably gave them some confidence. They were a bunch of ATS losses before that, but I'm thinking that adding it all up, it's probably a decent spot to take Phoenix, and I will take that one. Let me just find the best line right now. It's 1.5, and it's still 1.5 on the overnight line. A few places have 2, but I'll throw that one on there. Phoenix -1.5, -105 at Pinnacle is the best line right now, and probably the first half is also worth a play as well. Not sure if I want to double up on it, but I might. I'll think about that. And then let me see what else. What are the other plays that I was liking on the card? And then kind of liking New Orleans on the first half against Atlanta. Now, New Orleans, of course, is a team that I've in general had a pretty good read on, but as far as my bets are concerned, I've been zigging when I should have been zagging and zagging when I should have been zigging. I've tended to bet on them when they had bad results, and then pass on them or bet against them when they were playing well. But in general, they're a good team. Atlanta, of course, is completely decimated, and a lot of injuries, not a lot of talent, and the only concern here is just that it could be a little bit of a letdown spot for New Orleans, that that they might not take Atlanta super seriously. But I'm thinking that the under's a good play here. Atlanta team total under's probably a good play, and New Orleans on the first half is probably a good play as well. This is always a kind of game where a team like New Orleans can unexpectedly let down and just not bring it, but I think they probably will, and I think I'm liking the under and the Atlanta team total under a little bit more than just New Orleans on the first half, but I am definitely liking that one. And then Washington suddenly starting to play good defense. That was one of my picks with Jimmy the Bag on their under against the Lakers 2 games ago. Now they're going up against Sacramento. Sacramento is absolutely not getting it done right now at all, and they just their starters aren't that good. Their bench is more productive, but feels like Washington is probably going to be able to hold them down, and that this game will be reminiscent of the first time they played, which is in Sacramento this year. Washington won at 110-83. Feels like we have no reason to expect anything different here. So once again, the Sacramento team total under, which should be about 100, is another play that I bet and that I'm leaning towards. 98.5 plus 100 at Pinnacle right now. You could probably find some 99s around. So those are the plays I'm thinking about. The Sacramento team total under, the Knicks first half full game, and the team total over for the Knicks. Atlanta team total under 103.5 right now. The full game under on that one, and the Pelicans -1. The Pelicans first half minus the points. Minnesota on the first half is definitely going to be a play for me. Phoenix full game is already a play. I've already given that one. And the Philly Sixers game is the Philly Clippers game is a very interesting one. Obviously, it's a bounce back spot for Philly, and you could make a good argument that Philly on the full game or first half or both are good plays against the Clippers. Of course, Philly got blasted by Golden State in their last game. Definitely, I'll be looking for Philly to maybe be a good bet in the rematch, which is coming up soon. But they were covering before their last 2 games, and the Clippers, a lot of straight up and ATS losses in a row for the Clippers, so they're probably a little bit salty here, but they're just a little bit banged up. Beverly's out, and it just looks like despite the fact that the Clippers are probably going to come in here frustrated, that the Sixers will be focused and probably are a good bet. But I'll decide whether I want to give that one as an official play later on in this segment. As of right now, just 2 plays, Minnesota on the first half, and the Phoenix Suns full game. Let me just find this one. Where the hell is that one? Yeah, Phoenix Suns full game and Minnesota on the first half. I'm quickly going to get to some comments here to see if anyone can shed some light on some of these leans that I got, and then I'll finalize my official picks, and then we'll move on to the other segments here. I looked down a lot of funny but blue comments. Yeah, Delta 7575 likes the Sixers to win by a point, 108 to 107. So, presumably he thinks the Sixers are a good bet at +2, which I would agree with, but not necessarily a hugely positive bet. All right. Oh, shit. Mr. Picks God says, Loshak, first time in my life I don't like none of your picks. Well, tell me why, Mr. Picks God. You like the Lakers? You like the Lakers over Phoenix? Let me know, please. And then you don't like Minnesota on the first half against Utah. Please let me know why. Please, Mr. Picks God, explain so I can consider it, and then maybe go off it, or at the very least read out your opinions here so that people can let's see. Andrew G saying 76ers won't beat the Clippers. Laugh my ass off. Relax. Blah, blah, blah. Comments. Let's see. Come on. Mr. Pickscott, please let me know why you disagree with my two picks that I've given so far and some of my under leans. Let's see. Other comments. Never Faded says, I like the Cavs to cover tonight. Braun will ball out in the Garden. Min to cover full game and Warriors game over. Yes, the Warriors game didn't have an overnight line, so I didn't look at that one. You just never know what you're going to get from the Cavs. I know that the Cavs are pissed off right now, but so are the Knicks looking for a good game. I'm thinking maybe I'll just give the Knicks team total over. So if it's a high-scoring game that the Cavs cover on, maybe the Knicks team total over will cash as well. Delta 7575 saying sack 98, Washington 109. Yes, Washington has been playing better defense recently. That's probably only going to last for a few games, but I'm thinking that it's more likely than not to last here. Let's see. Other comments here. Delta 7575 likes Pelicans 116, Hawks 105. Okay. I would be leaning under on that one, but he's liking the over slightly, and the Pelicans minus the points slightly. Mr. Picksgod says New Orleans is a second half team. Okay, that's not one of my picks yet. New Orleans on the first half. It was just what I was thinking about. Sports Have Ball says Cavs bricks over 218.5. Yes, I was definitely thinking about the over 218. Delta 7575 saying don't lay that hook in the Suns game. Okay. Well, I have to give it a 1.5. It's not. There's no twos available. Why don't you like a lot of people saying they like the Lakers? I wonder why. Let's see. Armin Hinjosa likes the under in Minnesota, Utah. I can certainly understand that. Delta 75 says Lakers 107, Suns 111. Oh, okay. What's he talking about? Oh, Delta 75 says Suns money line only. Don't lay 2. Okay, that's an interesting opinion. He also doesn't like this Knicks. If you bet the Knicks team total and the Knicks +5, you are more likely to get screwed 2 ways. That's funny. All right, let's see. Other comments. Let me see. Most people giving me some support here. Some people saying that interesting slam from the Heartbreak Kid. Heartbreak Kid saying no one can put up with Loshak. Hey, Heartbreak Kid. Go fuck yourself. Go watch some other show, asshole. If you meant that one as an insult, I don't know if you did. I'm completely overwhelmed because of college basketball. I was okay until college basketball started, and now I'm just like head over feet, feet over head, like a big fucking wave in the ocean. Just came and slammed into me. All right, so some interesting comments here. A lot of people saying that the Cavs are going to come in here and blast the Knicks, which I can certainly understand. It's just the Knicks have been undervalued. The Cavs in general overvalued. I think they're going to go on spurts where they're dominant, but getting 5, I would definitely be leaning Knicks here. Let's see. Project Carpe Diem says Suns and the Lakers can't be trusted. Yeah, both those teams are either team can come in and not show up at any given point, which, if the Lakers get a blowout win, I wouldn't be surprised, but I am taking Phoenix. Bradley Oliver says Suns will be playing very well. Carlos Luder says Utah will be running tonight, like the over. Okay, Armin and Joseph likes the under. Carlos Luders likes the over. So Carlos Luders and Armin and Joseph are going head-to-head in the Minnesota-Utah total. All right, okay.
A lot of comments on the Blazer game. Do you have any opinion on that one?
No, that one is one that's going to be a complete pass for me. That is a very tough one. Obviously, Denver's been playing great at home. Now they go on the road, and Lillard has also been banged up recently. He's going to be playing through it supposedly, but He also wasn't playing well when he wasn't banged up. Again, my overall record NBA great this year, but the Blazers are one team that I've had a not so good read on, and I've had a couple losses with them. So I'm thinking that's probably best to pass here. Again, Denver's playing well, but it was all at home. Portland's not playing well. Lillard banged up, and so I'm passing on that one. I know, Breadman, I know you follow Portland closely. That's your home team. Do you have anything to say about that game?
No, I agree with you. I think that Lillard is a trooper. He's probably not going to let on when he's starting to slow down. And they can break out. They've been in a funk, and this I think could be a great spot where they kind of break out of it.
Yeah.
But would I put money on it today? Probably not. I'm still looking at it.
If you gave me a free play, I would take Portland to get the win, but that is just a planned reversal of fortune because, again, Lillard banged up. Lillard not playing well, Denver playing great, but at home. So that's a tough one. A lot of people disagreeing with my picks so far. Okay, so let's see. So far, I've given just 2 picks. Phoenix -1.5 and Minnesota on the first half. The other picks that maybe I'll just stay off the Cleveland and Knicks game. That is, people making great points about that one. I was thinking I'm definitely liking the over. People were saying that they like the over as well. So I think I'm liking the overs more than I am liking the Knicks leans that I have. And I'm definitely liking the unders in the Atlanta New Orleans games. Not New Orleans minus the points, but more just an Atlanta team total under and the full game under. Although someone else I believe was saying that they don't like the under in that one. That is now still at 217 market wide. Not much movement on that one at all. Let me think about this one for just 1 second. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tricky one. I will give it. I like it. New Orleans has had some wins recently that were a lower scoring. Atlanta, shooting better recently, but I think that's a little bit illusory. And I will take the under 217 at -107 at Pinnacle right now as an official pick. So that's a third official pick in the NBA that I'm given. I got Minnesota on the first half, Atlanta, New Orleans under, and Phoenix -1.5. Other plays I'm thinking about: Sacramento team total over. I'll probably hang off that one. Knicks team total over, and the over in that game are plays that I'm still leaning towards, but maybe I'll just hang off that one. Atlanta team total under is also a lean that I'm thinking about, and I guess Philly one way or another is a way that I'm leaning. Again, I'm a little bit. I didn't do as much research as I would have liked last night because I had so much other stuff that I was getting to, but that's what I'm thinking about right now. Let's see. Kobe Valentine saying 77% of ticks on Golden State. Line has dropped 1.5 points. Okay, again, that's a game that I didn't look at because there was no overnight line, but that was interesting. That would certainly indicate reverse line movement favoring Orlando +13. Interesting there for sure. Simone Mambella, some NCAA basketball. Simone Mambella. I just have not had time to get on top of college basketball yet. I am betting it. I'm doing okay with it so far in the young season, but hopefully in future shows I'll be able to be giving picks at 10 o'clock Eastern time, and I hope that I will for today. I have not even looked at today's card in depth at all, so can't give a bet on that one. Let's see. Never Faded saying Sacramento team total under. Yes, that's one of my leans. It's 98.5. At some point, this excellent defense that Washington is playing is going to go completely out the window, and teams are going to start scoring on them again. You can see that coming right away. But in this game, in this spot, my sense is that they're going to have another strong defensive performance here. Let's see. A lot of people talking about Rise Hacks saying, how about Timberwolves? Yes, I already gave them as a pick. First half, -1.5. I definitely gave that one as a pick. Let's see. Other comments. Justin Searcy saying Golden State is a great live bet team. Yes, excellent point there, Justin Searcy. I don't do too much live betting religiously, but there are definitely some teams that have high ups and high downs. And if you can identify a team that is that has a lot of volatility in their play within a game, high ups and high downs, you can definitely bet into that and get great value. And it appears that you have done that with Golden State. Justin Searcy, nice job, Justin Searcy. Yes, and the Spurs are also a team that, at least in years past, tended to be like that as well. They would be down at the half and then wind up winning games by 25 points, stuff like that. So there's great live value with the Spurs as well, betting them usually to bounce back whenever they were down or on a cold spell. All right, let's see. Let's see. Everyone asking about where is Jimmy at? I don't know. I thought he was going to be in the show today. No one freaking told me. People are like, well, you knew Jimmy wasn't going to be in the show today, so shouldn't you have been more fully prepared? Yes, I didn't know. I didn't know Jim wasn't going to be here. All I've been told is that he's on vacation. I don't know if that means that he's on vacation or on vacation, but I'm doing the best I can in this show. I have no fun. That I wouldn't. I pride myself on honesty in these shows. So people are saying, "Man, where the fuck is the bag?" My answer to that is a completely honest answer. I have no fucking clue. I have absolutely no idea. I asked Breadman today, and he said, Kobe Valentine saying, "Pete, where is Marty Ice?" That I do know. I do know. Marty Ice is in the other room. I saw him today. I can answer. Marty Ice is just a few feet away. He's in the other room. Yes, that I can answer. All right. Let's see. Hako Schofield saying, like Cavs beat. Wow. Okay. Everyone liking the Cavs today. I can certainly understand why. It's just that the Knicks are just, they made that comment about the Knicks rookie, and the Knicks are just an undervalued team in general. And the Cavs, I'm just not totally sure if I'm sold on them long term. Or even in the short term on this one. But yeah, all right. So let's see. All right, okay. A lot of people talking about college basketball. I just have not been able to look at the college basketball card. Broccoli saying, even with Jimmy out, Pete is the man. This show is the sheet. Thank you so much, Broccoli. Really appreciate the comments. All right, so let's move on. That's the NBA segment. Let me just make my decisions here on my final picks. Let me just think about this one. Knicks team total over 106.5 minus 111. Man, I really want to kind of take that one. I will take that one. Knicks team total over 106.5 minus 111. So if the Cavs win in a blowout and it goes high scoring, great. I will cash the Knicks team total over anyway. A lot of people liking the Cavs tonight. I'm going to take a play on combining the Knicks and the over. Knicks team total over 106.5 minus 111 is an official pick. Again, New Orleans and Atlanta under 217, minus 107 is official pick. Minnesota first half. Minus 1.5 is an official pick, and Phoenix to beat the Lakers, minus 1.5 is also an official pick. And that's it. That's it for the NBA card. Just 4 picks. Thinking about the Sacramento team total under. Thinking about the Knicks plus 5.5, but everyone's loving Cleveland tonight. And thinking about the Atlanta team total under, but I'll hold off on that one as well. I'll just take the full game under for that one. And that's it. So that does it for NBA. Now let's move on to NHL. These are two very tricky games. In the NHL, I don't know. I had a losing day on Friday. I had Buffalo and Winnipeg on the puck lines, and both of them lost. The Ottawa-Colorado game, which was my borderline lean that I went on. I should have given the first period over on that one as well. That one cashed. And the Winnipeg team total over at 2.5 minus 156 turned out to be a loser. I am still up in the NHL overall, though, 45 and 44, average line plus 102, plus 1.3 units, plus 1.4% ROI. So I'm still up in the NHL, cutting it real fucking close right there, and I'm not happy about that. But still up, but cutting it real fucking close. All right, so today, two very tricky games, though. Dallas, very up and down. Playing well, playing better recently, and Carolina, a team that is okay, but, in general has problems scoring, and in general, a very beatable team. As an underdog, I would definitely be leaning Dallas here. That would be my quote-unquote strongest pick of the card, but I don't like it enough to actually give it. And then St. Louis and Calgary is also a tough one. Calgary has 2 days of rest. Calgary, of course, is playing off a little bit of revenge. St. Louis pounded the hell out of them in their last game, but Calgary had Lack in goal for that one. This one, they're supposed to have Smith in goal, so that presumably helps out Calgary here. And this is a tough one. I don't like betting against St. Louis in general. They're a very strong team, obviously, mostly been winning, but I don't like the spot for St. Louis, so that one's going to be a pass. If there was going to be a pick that I was going to give on today's card, it would be just taking a shot with Dallas as a small road underdog. You can get plus 115 at 5 dimes, plus 111, 110 at other places. Again, Dallas very up and down. Sometimes they show up in a big way. Sometimes they don't show up at all. Maybe a reverse puck line might be worth a shot there. And, of course, Bishop is expected to be in goal for Dallas, and he's just very great, very reliable. And Carolina just doesn't score, in general, just doesn't score that strongly. So, I would definitely be leaning Dallas, and they just have a huge edge on the power play, right? Their power play is great. Carolina's been terrible in the power play, and, from what I've been reading, they don't really have much of a plan to fix that. They don't know how to fix it. The GM and the coach have been talking, figuring out how to fix it. They can't really come up with anything. So the more I'm talking about this game, the more I'm liking Dallas as an underdog. And if I was up 10 units, I would probably give it. But given that I'm a little bit risk averse now, I kind of want to hold off on that one for now because Dallas, again, they have a way of not showing up unexpectedly, and Carolina is not a good team, but not a terrible team. Could come out with a win. Never Faded says NHL card is lame today. You damn Skippy, Never Faded. There's only 2 games, and neither one of them has any low-hanging fruit on it. You damn Skippy, Never Faded. NHL card is, wow. Mr. Pickscott saying, leave Suns alone. Mr. Pickscott really does not like my pick on the Suns. All right, look. I hope I hope it loses. It's my only loser of the day, Mr. Pickscott. What can I say? I've already given that as a pick, and there we go. Daniel Stanley saying, not saying overs don't happen, just saying it's all the public bets. I used to work in a sports book. 80% of people take overs in basketball and football. Yes, people love to take overs, but there are times when those overs are great bets. In the NHL to start the season, and a few years ago when the NFL changed their rules around, and all of a sudden the overs started cashing like crazy in the NHL in the first few weeks. Yep. But you're absolutely right, Daniel Stanley. In general, people do like to take overs, and that is reflected in the way the lines are shaded. Mr. Pickscott saying Minnesota first half too good to be true. All right, listen. I just think it's good enough that I want to make a pick there. But you might be right, Mr. Pickscott. I'm hoping that at least I break even on those 2 plays. And if one of them is loser, hopefully it's my only loser of the day. Skooma Steve saying decent spot for Flames. Yes, I agree with you. If I had to take a shot with this one, I would take Calgary, and it's probably a good bet. It's just that St. Louis is a great team. Don't particularly want to be. Let's see. Andrew G saying Lakers are a matchup nightmare for Suns. Back off, Petey. I think I might be on the wrong side of this Lakers-Suns game, Breadman.
Hey, you know what? The show's not over. You can still retract if you want. The NBA segment is over. The segment is over. You can still retract that.
Wow. Pick. Everyone's saying that the Suns are. Look, the Suns are playing well. I feel like they're motivated for this game. Alan Schmidt saying, I love Minnesota first half. All right, I'm going to stick with it. But you guys might be right. And as I've said many times, in general, I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to sports betting, but not compared to the chat box. In general, the chat box knows a bit more than I do about sports betting, although my opinions are also have some value as well. So, all right. So here we go. Yes, Slew saying, Reed Conrad, NHL is a stay away this evening. All right, so I'm staying away from the NHL. No official picks in the NHL. Just 2 games on the card tonight, and it's just a lame card that they handed us. All right, next, let's move on to NFL tonight. Minnesota and Carolina and Miami. I did give 3 official picks in the NFL last week, and I went 1-2. My winner was Minnesota. My loser was Buffalo +3 and the Cleveland-Detroit under, which was also a bad pick. But again, cutting it close in the NFL, but I'm still proud to say that overall in the year in my official picks, still positive in the NFL. So you haters, a couple more weeks of NFL losers you'll need before I am actually negative. 14-10 overall in the NFL, average line of -111, +2.5 units, +10% ROI in the NFL. So, yeah, that's not going to change with tonight's game, though, because I'm definitely not giving a pick on it. We've gotten a lot of opinions saying that there's no way that Miami should be getting this many points, and that does make sense, but I also don't really want to bet against Carolina here either. Could easily see a 17-6 type game, 21-7 type game. We've seen a lot of score, 23-10, those type of games. It's probably going to be close, and I also don't want to bet the under, although the under is probably the way I would be leaning as well. So, in general, small leans to Miami and the under, but I'm definitely not going to be betting either of those, and I'm definitely not going to be giving either one of those as an official pick either. The Greek does appear to have a lean towards Carolina. It's 8.5 market wide, 8.5 or 9 market wide. The Greek is still hanging with 9.5, so that's interesting. But Pinnacle is down at 8.5. If they had a lean to Carolina, they'd be at least at 9 right now as well. So the Greek and Pinnacle have opposite leans here. Bookmaker and BetDSI smack in the middle at 9. So the market seems to be uncertain as to where the edge should be. And maybe I'll talk to Brent from BetDSI about this game this next weekend. I have a feeling he might tell us that sharp action came in on both sides of this one, because I could easily see that being the case. But it's not going to be a play for me. Chatbox seems to be leaning Miami more than Carolina. Let me see any recent comments. Daniel Hernandez likes the Timberwolves to have. Everyone's talking about NBA again. Lakers and Phoenix under from Daniel Hernandez. Okay, I can see that one. Carlos Luders says LeBron triple doubles. Alan Schmidt's asking, do I ever do parlays? I can. The answer is I do them recreationally. Yes. But I don't do them with the expectation of winning. No, I do not do them with the expectation of winning. Parlays, just to remind everyone, parlays magnify EV, but you can be it's very easy to overbet them, and you can easily, even if you have a positive EV legs of a parlay, unless you're betting it small, it's probably a negative EG bet. So if you have a bunch of positive EV plays and you parlay them, your EV on that parlay will be even bigger than your individual EVs on the individual legs. But if you bet it too big, your expected growth on that parlay is going to be negative. So that's how parlays work. Some guys used to use parlays to get around limits, like if there was like a book that had low limits, but they weren't checking how you were parlaying things. There would be a pick that you liked, and you would parlay it with a huge money line favorite, way to get around limits. That was one way that people used to do it, although the books are a lot savvier. So the answer is that yes, I do bet parlays recreationally, but no, I do not bet parlays with the expectation of winning. That's the answer to that one.
Hey,
all right,
Pete, you got somebody who's backing you up on that Suns pick.
Really?
Yeah, Kobe Valentine says the Suns is a revenge game, and Lakers are 1-5 on the road. The Suns 3-5 at home. Pick the Suns.
All right. Well, now I don't know what the fuck to think then. I mean, what the fuck am I supposed to think here? We got one guy saying I agree with you on the Suns. One guy saying you Pete stay off the Suns. One guy saying it's a matchup nightmare for the Suns. One guy saying the Suns have revenge here. What the fuck am I supposed to think?
I have a question for you. It might help you kind of sort it out.
Thank you.
What's your record like, more or less, versus what your initial thoughts and feelings are in a game versus when you second guess yourself? When you start second guessing yourself, do you tend to lose or do you tend to win on your initial feeling? That's
a good question, and that's actually why I track my leans, which, by the way, you guys should track as well. If you're serious about this shit, you should track the bets you make, and also track the bets that are borderline. And if you can, identify what bets you make that are borderline as well. And I do track my leans in these shows. And as of right now, let me see. As of right now, I am up 13 units in the NBA. If I were including all my leans, I'd be up 15 units. Yeah. But my ROI would be a lot lower, and that's what I would expect. That's why I make them only leans, because I think they are positive EV, but a lot less positive EV. So if I had been giving all my leans, I'd be up 15 units instead of 13, but my ROI would be 11% instead of 22%, which it is on my official pick. So that's the answer, and that's actually a good sign, which means that I'm probably doing a good thing by not including my leans, but that my leans themselves are positive EV. So, yeah. Good question. Breadman. Wow, out of nowhere. Good question. We had some good questions about parlays, about leans and stuff like that. Kobe Valentine says Suns is a good pick. All right. Look, I'm on the fucking Suns, all right? I bet them. If they lose, fine. I'll take I have 4 picks in the NBA tonight. Hopefully, if I come out 3-1, I'll be fine. Even if I come out 2-2, I'll be all right. But yeah. Wiz also likes the Suns. Suns and over. Daniel Hernandez, stay on the under. Yeah. Boss Hog says parlays will kill you. Yes. No, look, if you bet them, as with anything else, if you bet them appropriately, they can be good bets. The thing is that they're huge underdog bets, right? Obviously, a parlay is a much bigger underdog than any money line you would ever take, and money line and big underdog bets, by definition, usually should be bet very small, because if you're betting them bigger than what they should be, then you're over betting them, and you'll lose even if it is a positive EV. Big underdog bet. So that's the way parlays go. Parlays will kill you, not necessarily because they're bad to do, but just because usually you wind up overbetting them. That's why parlays are bad, and that's why books love to offer them, and books love people who bet them, because usually they're overbetting them, and that's what the danger of parlays is, not necessarily with the EV involved with the parlays. All right, so let's see. Kim Jong-jo says, Lakers always clamp down on defense in the second half. Take halftime over and live bet the under. That is an awesome comment there, Kim Jong-jo. Yes, if you can figure out, tendencies of teams like that, especially in the NBA, there can be great value with halftime bets and also with live betting. But you have to really lock in on the tendencies and the edges that you're seeing. But if you're right about it, that is great value, and it's value that the books really cannot adjust for. And that's some of the best value in sports betting in general nowadays is with that kind of live betting. So great comment there, Kim Jong-jo. All right, okay. Let's see. Let me see. Other comments. All right, I think we can just wrap it up today. It's a short card. I've got nothing on NFL, nothing on the lame NHL card today, but I do have 4 quite controversial picks in the NBA. Let me review them. First of all, I'll lean to the Sacramento team total under, but that's not an official pick. The Knicks team total over 106.5 minus 111 is an official pick. Most people in chat box saying Cleveland is the way to go, but also a lot of opinions liking the over as well, which I was also leaning towards and tempted to give as well. So it's entirely possible that Cleveland get a comfortable cover and the Knicks cover their team total over anyway. So that's one pick. The Knicks team total over is definitely a pick. The Atlanta-New Orleans game, an interesting game. Comments about how New Orleans is a strong second half team, so don't take them on the first half. I just took a straight play on the under on that one, under 217. I think that it might get into the 2 teens, but that the under is a modestly good play, and I did bet that one. Also a lean to the Atlanta team total under, but that's not an official pick. So far only New York Knicks team total over is an official pick, and the Atlanta New Orleans under 217 is an official pick. Minnesota first half minus 1.5 is an official pick. Some people saying they agree with that. Others saying looks too good to be true. I think it looks good enough to bet, and I bet it, and I hope it doesn't lose. Controversial pick of the day is definitely my pick on Phoenix, minus 1.5, minus 105. Some people agreeing with that. Kobe Valentine agreeing with that. Others agreeing with that. A lot of people strongly disagreeing with that, saying there's matchup problems in favor of the Lakers. Don't do it, Pete. Stay off the Suns. One other guy even said, don't take Phoenix minus 1.5. Take them on the money line. I don't know what's up with that. That's really putting too fine a point on it. I'm going to take the Suns here, minus 1.5, minus 105, and that's my 4th pick. Definitely the Denver-Portland game is interesting, and why not lean Philadelphia against the Clippers, but I'm not going to take that one. And also reverse line movement supposedly on Orlando. Everyone betting Golden State, but the line has dropped now down from 14.5 to 13. So maybe that indicates Orlando plus 13, or at least at 14.5, was a good bet. And that's it. That wraps it up for today's show.
We got one question that a couple people said is a good question. How do you personally break down how many units to lay down per game?
Oh, how many units to lay down per game? Yeah. Well, you first of all, you have to understand the Kelly concept, right? Which is explained, I believe, all over SBR. If you go to SBR Forum, especially the Handicappers Think Tank, you can just do a search for the Kelly criteria, and you can learn about that. And in the tools section, there's a Kelly calculator, which is very, very useful. You can learn, and even just by using the Kelly calculator, you can probably just learn what Kelly is. What Kelly is it's a mathematical equation that tells you exactly how much to bet based on your edge and based on your bankroll. So I take the Kelly calculator, I look at a sport in general, and I make my assumption on what my overall assumed edge is going to be on that sport overall on the season. And that's my base amount that I'm going to bet on every game. Now, if I like a game more, then I'll bet a little bit more than what Kelly would indicate I should bet. If I like it, but I like it less, I'll bet a little bit less than what Kelly should indicate that it is. So, it usually works out to being, maybe about 1 or 2% of bankroll on a bet. If I like something a little bit more, then I'll bet it a little bit more. If I like something a little bit less, then I'll bet it a little bit less. But yeah, and it's interesting when you go to the Kelly calculator and the arbitrage calculator, you can play around with the numbers and really, and it'll tell you, you can figure out, if you have a certain edge on a game, what percentage of your bankroll you should be betting. Or you can do it the opposite, which is if you know you're betting a certain percentage of your bankroll on a bet, what winning percentage are you implying? Like, for example, let's say you're betting let's say you have a 10% edge, right? If you're assuming you have a 10% edge on a bet, that would mean at minus 110, you would have to be hitting 57.5% of your plays, which is a lot. You know what I mean? If you drop down to 55%, that implies that your edge is a lot lower. So basically, you should assume what your edge is on a play and go to the Kelly calculator and figure out what the winning percentage is implied by that. And if that feels about right to you, then you're betting. Then you're betting approximately what you should be betting. If it feels a little high to you, then you should reduce your bet size. If it doesn't feel high enough, which is probably not going to be the case because most people overestimate their edges, but if it doesn't feel high enough, then increase your bet size. So that's basically what I do. I estimate my edge in a sport over a season or even like segments of seasons, because in some sports I tend to do better in the I expect myself to do better later in the season, like baseball, than earlier in the season. So yeah, I estimate my edge in a sport over a span of time, and that becomes my basic bet percentage for each bet that I make. And if there's a bet during that span of time that I like a little bit more, I'll bet it a little bit more than my base bet. If I like it, but like it a little bit less, I'll bet a little bit less than my base bet. And that's how you do it. That's how you bet size in sports betting, Breadman. How's that for a decent, comprehensive answer? That answers the question comprehensively, but not using lingo or talking over anyone's head.
Hey man, it was an excellent answer.
Right. Excellent. Okay. All right. So one question that I can't answer is Jim going to be back tomorrow? I don't fucking know because no one told me, but I'll be back tomorrow for the Tuesday card, and I'm sure Jim will be back at some point this week, and I'm sure that at some point they will let me know what the schedule is for it. He's going to be back tomorrow. Really?
They say, well, I heard released.
Wow. Okay. Sounds great. Well, no matter whether Jim's back tomorrow or not, I will be back tomorrow for the Tuesday card. Hopefully, my NBA plays tonight are at least 2-2. I'd love 3-1. And win, lose, or draw, we'll be back tomorrow for the Tuesday card.